All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me here for today's class, which is our first out of two classes all on the blue zones, which has always been a pretty interesting topic, I know for myself, and hopefully it will be for you today. So my name is Charlotte Scheid, I'm one of the Giant Company Dietitians, and again, thank you for joining me here where we're going to learn all about Blue Zones 101. All right, can anybody hear me now? Yep, so just go ahead and okay. Okay, I apologize for that. So let me actually backtrack and um kind of start again. Okay. So my name is Charlotte Scheid, and I'm one of the Giant Company Dietitians, and I appreciate everybody joining me here for today's Blue Zone class, which is one class out of a two classes in the series. So this is our agenda for today. We're going to talk all about the blue zones. So what is longevity? Why nutrition matters for longevity? What are the blue zones? I don't know if anybody has heard of them, but of course we're going to be discussing them today. Some key nutrients for longevity, longevity boosting foods. We're also going to be talking a little bit, putting a spotlight on the Mediterranean diet, especially from one of the regions. They obviously have or do the Mediterranean diet. I'm also going to discuss some products to look for at Giant Martin's, some savory recipes, and then our dietitian's pick, which is the Blue Zones Kitchen. So I don't know if anybody has been in store and has seen that product, but we're going to be discussing that. So the first thing I want to do is I want to see how many of you have heard of the Blue Zones, um, the Blue Zones. So let me go ahead and launch this. So question is, have you heard of the blue zones? So I know for myself, I heard of the blue zones a very long time ago. There was a guest on, I think it was the Oprah show, Dan Buettner, who was the head researcher for the blue zones. That's kind of when I heard about it and gained some interest in it. All right, so let me go ahead and end the poll. I'll share the results. All right. So some of you have, but then actually there's a good amount of you who have not heard about the blue zones. Which yeah, I never know because I'm familiar with the blue zones, but I thought there'd be more people that would be have heard of that. But so hopefully again everybody will learn about it today. All right, so thank you for answering that question. All right. So when we talk about longevity, here's another poll question. Actually, let me do another one. So the next one is how much of the human lifespan do you think is determined by genetics? So we have 15%, 25%, 50, or 80%. All right, more seconds. All right, so go ahead and end the poll and share the results. All right, so a lot of you said 50%, with 25%, then 80, then 15. So it's actually 25%. So 25% of our genetic or of the human lifespan is determined by genetics, 25%, which I thought was really kind of interesting. And you can see how our lifestyle choices can affect us living a longer and healthier life. So, definition for longevity, so living a longer and healthier life. And I think another word to point out is quality, because of course we can live a long life, but if we don't have the quality of, living a long life and being healthy, if you are healthy physically, but then mentally maybe you have dementia, you always want to have the benefit of both. So being physically fit and then, mentally as well. So our lifestyle choices definitely play a major role, which we'll discuss in a little bit. So why is longevity important to people? I thought this was something to also point out. So of course, having more time with family and friends is always important. And then if you are, a part of the community and doing some, community projects or work or whatnot, you can continue to contribute to work and society, community, and then family as well. So why nutrition matters with longevity. So nutrition plays a major role along with a lot of other different factors, but nutrition plays a role in longevity because it definitely impacts the body's ability to function, repair, and maintain health over time. So we know that when you get older, you may be more susceptible to chronic disease like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. Also, with nutrition, we can support our cellular health. So vitamins like C and E. So as we get older, oxidative stress accelerates aging. So we always want to, put food in our diets that, will help with cellular health. And also with a healthy aging, so preserving muscle mass, bone density, and cognitive function. We always want to protect our muscle mass, and bones. Also, for immune health, food can play a major role in, having a good immune system. There's a lot of different research with gut health and the gut microbiome, especially with gut health and fiber, probiotics, prebiotics. We always want to improve our gut health, which of course, adding certain foods to our diet can help with that. And of course, when I mentioned about dementia earlier, we always want to enhance our brain health, protect our brain health, prevent cognitive decline, dementia, which omega-3 fatty acids can protect the brain from decline in memory and performance. So the nutrition can definitely play a major role with longevity, especially certain nutrients and then food. All right, so let's talk about what are the blue zones. So I mentioned about the head researcher that kind of, was interested in this area, and he saw in different parts of the world that people were living longer, so he wanted to do more research into it. So it was Dan Buettner. So again, blue zones, regions of the world where people live significantly longer and healthier lives. So the 5 blue zones on here. So one we have in Japan. So this is Okinawa. Japan, Sardinia, Italy, which a lot of times when I think about longevity, and maybe you've heard about it in media, news, or whatever, so a lot of people maybe tend to think about Italy, basically because of like the Mediterranean diet. In Greece, we have Idkaria, Greece. In Costa Rica, Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, and then there is one location in the United States, which is Loma Linda, California. And so the takeaway from the blue zones is that longevity is about daily habits and then also food patterns, but also a big part of the blue zones is that social connection, which plays a major role in longevity, which you'll see in like different areas. These 5 blue zones, they definitely have a lot of social connections. So I think that's always something to keep in mind, which plays a really important role. So I like this visual chart so you can see where all these different locations are. So again, one in California, then Costa Rica, Italy, Greece, and Japan as well. I think that's a good visual. All right, so with the blue zones, so I thought these were pretty interesting facts from the different locations. So the Ikaria in Greece, so this has one of the lowest dementia rates in the world, also has one of the lowest middle-age mortality rates as well. The location in Japan, so these people who live here over the age of 65 have one of the longest life expectancies in the world, and it is home to the longest lived woman in the world as well. And then in Sardinia, Italy, so this kind of landscape is rocky, mountainous terrain. I'm away from touristy areas. So why that's important is that they tend to have a lot of exercise. So if they have to, walk to the grocery store where they need to go, they're definitely walking a lot, which plays an important role, which we'll discuss in a little bit. Also with Sardinia, Italy, the Guinness Book record, or it holds the Guinness Book record for oldest combined age of 9 siblings, so 828 years. Also, more males live to be 100 years old, 100 years or more here than anywhere else on Earth. So I thought those were pretty interesting facts about those different locations. All right, so Loma Linda, California. So this has the highest concentration of Seventh-day Advents in the world. So in this culture, religion, they are vegetarian. So that's something important to keep in mind, especially in the next couple of slides. So vegetarian, meaning they're definitely eating more plant-based foods, no red meat. They do not smoke, no alcohol, and also no caffeine as well. And again, have that vegetarian diet, so probably a lot of, fruits, vegetables, and fiber. Also, the life expectancy here in this location of California can be up to 10 years more than the average American. And then our location, Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica. So middle-aged people can expect to live to at least 90. Also has the second highest population of 100-plus-year-old men. So again, some interesting facts about those different locations, which I thought was interesting. Okay, so with all the different locations, these are some shared traits of the longest lived people out of all 5 of these blue zones. So the first is they move naturally. So what this means is that daily physical activity is unavoidable and a natural part of the environment. So again, if they have to go to the grocery store, they're walking there, or they're growing their own food, so they're gardening, doing chores, and just, constantly having that consistent movement. So they're not, exactly just sitting on the couch. They're definitely up and moving just because, it's their way of life. So they don't necessarily think about it too much. They don't really have to. So they're not really going to the gym because they don't really need to because they're, doing chores throughout the day. Also, another shared trait is the right outlook, know your purpose. So why do I wake up in the morning? Having that purpose, something to live for beyond work is also associated with decreased mortality. Also, stress management and helping to find routines that reduce stress. So the location in Japan, so they're remembering their ancestors, helps them to reduce stress, have purpose. Praying. So the location in Loma Linda, California. So praying, definitely a part of their culture. In Japan, which I know for myself, I should definitely take this note, but they take naps and rest, which is really important for that stress management. And then Sardinians have happy hour and that social connection, which I always think is very, very important, that social connection. So again, the right outlook and then knowing your purpose. Also, eat wisely. So there is a saying, Harahachi Boo. I'm sure I'm not saying that right. But anyways, what this means is that you eat only until you're about 80% full. So sometimes, especially here in America, maybe we're eating, so fast, we're not having that fullness cue, and then we're overeating, excessive amount of calories. But usually in these different locations are kind of slowing down, being more mindful about eating. So they're able, if they're slowing down, then they're able to kind of feel their body be about that 80% full. So I'm full versus I'm no longer hungry. They also, a lot of incorporate more vegetables, which, more antioxidants, more fiber, and then some red wine occasionally, which has, different compounds that is beneficial. Also a sense of belonging. So finding your tribe, different groups that shared the same traits of, healthy habits are contagious. In the group in Japan, what's important to them is they commit to 5 friends. They commit to each other for life. Connecting with religion is another one. So believing in a higher power and attending religious services, which kind of goes in connection with that, social time can boost life expectancy, and also family first is a big one, a shared trait of these common locations. So committing to a life partner, caring for aging parents, and also investing in children. So having that family first, connecting with religion, and then finding that tribe, and also eating wisely as well. All right, so these are some nutrients for longevity. So going back to kind of, cognitive decline and dementia, which can happen with aging. The omega-3 fatty acids, a lot of research with that, helping to, be protective of the brain. So things like tuna, salmon, sardines, flaxseed, chia seeds, walnuts, even in fortified foods like eggs and yogurt. So omega-3 fatty acids help to reduce inflammation and then support heart and brain health. Fiber is a big one for longevity. And I know as Americans, we definitely don't eat enough fiber. We can always do a better job with that, but fiber plays a role in many different areas. But fiber can be found in whole grains, fruits, vegetables, legumes like beans, peas, and lentils. So what fiber helps to do helps to support that gut health, that gut microbiome, which is important, helps to lower cholesterol, and then of course helps with weight management because it helps us to feel fuller longer. Also antioxidants, which I'm sure a lot of you have already heard a little bit about antioxidants, but this helps to protect the cells from oxidative stress and reduces inflammation, which of course can happen as we age, which can also lead to chronic diseases. Vitamin C is an antioxidant, which is, really important to have cell protection. So vitamin C can be in things like citrus fruits, which are in season right now, bell peppers, berries, and those types of things, types of food. So these are some longevity boosting foods I just wanted to mention. When you're thinking about longevity and foods, leafy greens are a good one, really good source of antioxidants. Same with berries, and also berries are a really good source of fiber as well. Our fatty fish like salmon with those omega-3s and extra virgin olive oil with healthy fats. Tomatoes have lycopene, vitamin C, which is important for longevity. Nuts like almonds and walnuts, and then seeds like pumpkin seeds have those healthy fats that we want, especially for our brain health. Beans, good source of fiber, and then mushrooms, onions, and garlics have important compounds that are also beneficial for longevity. So when we're thinking about longevity and some foods you want to incorporate, or maybe you already are incorporating them, you can think of these. So just a spotlight on the Mediterranean diet, because there's been a lot of research with the Mediterranean diet. So in our location that was like Italy and Greece, they tend to incorporate this pattern, but also the other areas, they have similar traits as well. But with the Mediterranean diet, eating pattern that emphasizes plant-based foods and those healthy fats, which mostly come from the olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So at every meal, a lot of fruits and veggies, whole grains, and that olive oil. At least 3 servings a week of fish and seafood, nuts and legumes. So beans, peas, and lentils help to get that fiber in. Then fish and seafood, the healthy fats. Moderation, poultry, dairy, and eggs. And then limiting 1 serving per week of red meat, sweets, butter, products with added sugar. Also important component is staying hydrated. Sometimes I think that we could always, including myself, do a better job of that, but 8 to 10 glasses of water per day. But also these fluids can come from other sources like coffee, tea, and smoothies as well. So also with the Mediterranean diet, it tends to limit saturated fat. So we know that saturated fat can raise our LDL, or that lousy cholesterol that we do not want high. Also can cause inflammation. The Mediterranean diet encourages healthy unsaturated fats, including those omega-3 fatty acids. So again, supports healthy cholesterol levels, brain health, and decreases inflammation that can happen as we get older. Also limits sodium, because a lot of times when they are flavoring meals and dishes, they're including herbs and spices to get really good flavor. And we know that high sodium can raise blood pressure, leading to heart attack or stroke. Also, it limits refined carbohydrates with little fiber. So this diet, of course, incorporating a lot of fiber, and then also has a high amount of antioxidants as well. So we know that this combats free radicals. I thought that this was interesting research study that they did, but that research has shown that there is an increase in lifespan with this eating pattern. So these different ages are when these individuals incorporated the Mediterranean diet. So if you incorporate it at age 20, it was shown that males can live 13 years longer, females about 11 years. If you incorporate it at age 40, 11 years in males and 10 years in females. And then age 60, if you incorporate it, about 9 years in males and 8 years in females. So you can see here, it's never too late to incorporate, this type of diet pattern. Definitely has a important aspect with longevity. And also something to keep in mind that with the Mediterranean diet, it wasn't one thing that, makes people maybe live longer. It's kind of a synergy of like all the different components in the diet, so not one specific food group. So antioxidants, phytochemicals, omega-3 fatty acids, and fiber, of course, coming from, fruits, vegetables, whole grains. And again, with the Mediterranean diet, so 6 ways the Mediterranean diet helps you live longer. So of course, reduces risk of heart disease and stroke, helps with that stress-related inflammation, lowers cancer risk and reoccurrence, decreases risk of type 2 diabetes, slows cognitive decline, which of course we can know that can happen with aging, and then promotes bone density as well, especially important for females. All right, so these are some products to look for at Giant Martin's, which I've already kind of mentioned these. But the first one being dry roasted edamame. So this is a nice legume product that has a lot of fiber in it. I want to say per serving it has, I think, like 12 grams of fiber or something like that. So a really good source of fiber. Also makes for a nice snack. This is our brand extra virgin olive oil, which goes really well with whatever you're using. I want to use oil for. I like these Atlantic salmon portions because you can kind of pull them out as you need them. They're great for a sheet pan meal. This is our vegetable medley, so a combination of carrots and broccoli, cauliflower, really great antioxidants and fiber. Those are really also great for a stir fry. Avocados, really good source of healthy fats. I know that's a popular one in our house. You can use avocados in many different ways, whether that's on top of tacos or avocado toast. I like our Nature's Promise baby spinach, mostly because I like the container that it's in and it stays fresh really long time. So we have, spinach, arugula, and store spring mix. This time of year, blueberries, not so much in season, but you can get them frozen, and that you could put that into smoothies and even like, yogurt parfait. This is our Nature's Promise whole grain brown rice packet. So you pop it in the microwave 90 seconds and then it's ready to go. So that's a good whole grain source and an easy way to get it in. I wanted to include these harvest snaps. So these harvest snaps, they're a green pea snack, but they're a good source of fiber for a snack and pretty low in sodium. This is the quinoa, which is a whole grain and protein. These are some pumpkin seeds. So we mentioned about seeds being a good source of that healthy fat that we want. All right. So I also wanted to include some savory recipe inspirations for longevity. And before I mention the recipes, I wanted to just show here. So when you're searching for something, so we talked about the Mediterranean diet. There's different advanced filters that you can use, but you can see here on the left-hand side, if you scroll down to this arrow, you can click on Mediterranean, and then it will pull up a bunch of recipes specific to the Mediterranean diet, which I think is pretty cool. As well as the advanced filters on the right-hand side, you can click on diet, and then you can pull it down to vegetarian, which will pull up a lot of recipes with beans, vegetables, those types of things. So if you're searching for something, these are some great filters to have for that. All right, so the first recipe I wanted to mention, so we mentioned about salmon being a fatty fish, which is really important for longevity. So this is a nice sheet pan mustard maple salmon meal. Gets 3 guiding stars, which is our nutritional navigation program. So a product in store recipe can get up to 3 guiding stars. Just means it has more beneficial nutrients in it. So per serving, this has 36 grams of protein, 3 grams of fiber. Super easy to make. I always appreciate a sheet pan meal for easy cleanup, but this has a lot of great nutrition in it too. The next one, which I've made multiple times, is a Tuscan style tuna salad. So gets 3 guiding stars, has 11 grams of fiber, 26 grams of protein. I always tend to make this on a Sunday and I can have it, for 2 or 3 days after. So you can pull it out of the refrigerator when you need it. But this has super simple ingredients, has tuna in it, good fats, also has chickpeas, which add a little bit more protein and fiber. And it doesn't look like it has a lot of, flavor in it, but it actually is, it pulls together really well with the red onion, red wine vinegar. So that's another option for a longevity lunch inspiration. All right, so the next one is a blueberry smoothie bowl. So we know that blueberries And strawberries have a lot of have fiber and different types of plant compounds in them that are beneficial for longevity. This gets 1 guiding star, 10 grams of fiber, 10 grams of protein. This would make for a nice breakfast meal. But some bananas, strawberries, blueberries. You can do almond butter or peanut butter, whatever milk that you want, and some granola as well. And even if you can even make your own granola for some extra, um, so for some extra fiber. And then lastly, because I always love a good bean salad, this is a sweet potato and black bean salad, which again, you can make ahead of time and kind of pull it out as you need it. So this gets 2 guiding stars, 8 grams of protein, 10 grams of fiber, but some sweet potato, corn, black beans, some jalapeno, or you could leave that out if you don't like it too spicy, some store-bought salsa, cilantro leaves, and a little bit of olive oil, which is that healthy fat that we want for longevity. So just another option of what you can make. And there's so many good, just a side note, good bean recipes on Savory, which is nice. I always like, again, a good bean recipe. All right, so let me talk a little bit about Blue Zone's Kitchen. I don't know if anybody has seen this in store, but I am really obsessed with it because it's a super easy meal that, well, first of all, let me back up. So this is one of our dietitian's pick for the month. And so the Blue Zones Kitchen, so these are meals that are inspired by the Blue Zones. So again, the healthiest, longest lived regions in the world. So the chefs that are part of Blue Zone Kitchens have leveraged the recipes, flavors, and ingredients commonly in the Blue Zones to create some exciting products of nourishing, ready to heat meals. I will say for myself, my favorite one that I have eaten multiple times is the minestrone casserole. So a combination of tomatoes, carrots, red beans, garbanzo beans, and then durum wheat pasta. It's so delicious, especially on a cold day. And it's super easy to make as well. But at the Giant Company, we carry 6 flavors. So you can see the minestrone casserole, the heirloom rice bowl, burrito bowl, another mushroom bowl, sesame ginger bowl, and then the Korean mixed rice bowl. So a lot of different flavor options to choose from. The products do not have any added sugar. They are vegan. Each one has between 6 to 10 grams of fiber, so a great way to get in your fiber for the day. Has 10 to 11 grams of protein, and then many are gluten-free as well. So this is our dietitian's pick, again, Blue Zone's Kitchen, and which can be found in the frozen section. But again, yeah, I think these are just really nice, ready to heat meals, ready to go. If you're thinking about the Blue Zones and kind of different meals that you want to incorporate into your diet, these are a wonderful product option, which, yeah, which again, I'm really obsessed with. They're really good. All right, so some takeaway points from the Blue Zones. So first one, if you are not already, just try to incorporate just you can start out slow, but just incorporate more plant-based food into your diet. So things like beans and vegetables, which I think can be sometimes easy this time of year if you like to make soups or stews. But again, whole grains, if you're doing a white bread, maybe try to switch it out for a whole wheat bread. Try to get in those whole grains and fiber, and again, nuts and olive oil as well. Also try to think about how you eat if you are, living in a fast-paced world, which obviously I think we all are. We're very busy, but try to kind of just slow it down a little bit. Try to take more appreciation, for the meal, taste the flavors, have some type of social time for meals, and kind of be mindful, that you're not, rushing through it and, maybe, not feeling that hunger or not hunger cue, fullness cue. Also, movement, again, with the Blue Zones is built into daily life, like walking, gardening, and chores. So even if you can just get out and just walk for even 10 minutes, I know it's cold out, so that can be always kind of a challenge, but just trying to get out and walk even 10 minutes, if you can, just try to have some type of consistent movement. Also, again, social connection is a very important part of the Blue Zones. So also having strong family ties, you want to be a part of the community in some type of way, or even just having shared meals with family and friends. And also keep in mind about stress management, which I know we just came kind of from the holidays, which can be super stressful, but just try to take time for yourself, some self-care and stress management. So if you are, if you like to pray, do that. Definitely rest or take naps, exercise, and then again, that social time as well. That was really important. So just some takeaway points from the blue zones and what they're doing in these different regions to live longer, healthier lives. All right. So with that, I just want to mention our next Blue Zone class, which Joni is going to be doing. So this is on January 14th at noon, but she's going to be doing a table talk with that Blue Zone's Kitchen, which is our dietitian's pick. So it'll be a super interesting session. If you're not already registered for that, it'll definitely be a really cool class. So an extension on this Blue Zone's one-on-one. All right. And these are my references. I'm going to stop recording and then we're going to go to the Q&A. All right, so thank you, take care.